Come on down. You're the next contestant on Price is Right Wrestling's Retrospective Edition. A year ago, we witnessed the end of the NXT Black and Gold era with a stripped down and quite frankly a bit too dark at times presentation that, if we're being honest, had gotten quite a bit stale. They needed to revamp it. They needed to tweak things a little bit. Who doesn't love tweaking things? Tweaking them until they get all perky and everything. Lost my train of thought. And I can imagine that that was probably the mindset of one Vince McMahon, because he certainly loves tweaking things. Boy, does he ever. He probably said, "This is what my son-in-law spending the millions of dollars on? Well, goddamn it, pal. It's too dark. You can't see anything. We have to figure out how to make it better. I got an idea. I can make it better. Ha ha ha. Bruce, you want to hear my ideas? Sure, Vince. Sure, I want to hear your ideas. Maybe I could shove my nose up your ass a little bit more. That's okay, Bruce. You can do that. It's not 5 o'clock yet, but it is 5 o'clock somewhere." So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a couple more colors. Then we're going to add extra colors. Then we're going to continue to add colors. Every color on Earth, every color in the universe, discover other universes, add those colors. We're going to paint with all the colors of the wind, paint with all the colors of the solar winds. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the early days of Monday Night Raw. No, not like 1995 when I lost $6 million on my goddamn ass. Goddamn it, pal. Goddamn those feds. Goddamn it, Diesel didn't draw. He tore his quad and then he went somewhere else. God damn it, I lost so much money. Ha ha ha. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give everybody an occupation. We're going to give everybody weird names and everybody's going to love it. Everybody loved it back then. And everybody else is like, and Bruce is like, yeah, boss, that's a great goddamn idea. Can I shove the nose up your ass? Sure, Bruce, sure. Just let everybody out of the room this time. I don't need any more lawsuits. Ha ha ha. And now, after 1 year of NXT 2.0, we are on to whatever the golden white era is going to be. It certainly can't be any more of a mess than this last year was. Whew! I'm John Rhythm with my real honest thoughts on the highs and lows of NXT 2.0. So, was NXT 2.0 a pass or a fail? There were highlights, there were lowlights, happiness, sadness. There were moments that I actually really liked. It's not going to be a complete, like burial, in quotations, or a complete, just bloodletting of NXT. There are going to be positive, moments in this particular video because there were some good parts of NXT 2.0. But the negatives and the positives are honestly about 50-50 because looking at it from an objective point of view, they did some good stuff. The NXT Black and Gold brand had gotten stale. If we're being perfectly honest, it had gotten to the point where there were some main events on takeovers that were going nearly a fucking hour. That's fucking bullshit. I don't care what goddamn promotion you are. No fucking company should have matches go an hour, maybe more than once a year, if we're being honest. And NXT takeovers were doing that on the regular. I believe that's how the kids say it. I sound so goddamn white saying that, but they were doing 30-minute takeover matches. For some matches, it shouldn't have gone past 15. The NXT weekly TV show, sure, it took a dip when the pandemic hit. Every fucking show took a dip when the pandemic hit. Because you take away the fans, I don't care how good your product is, that's going to be a problem. But then Triple H had his health issues, which thankfully he seemingly has gotten past. That's good. And Shawn Michaels was brought in to apparently, Shawn Michaels has been part of NXT anyway, but now he is a coach, and he's apparently been doing the creative for NXT 2.0. He's apparently been the booker. At least that's what the rumor and innuendo or in her endo happens to say. And that would explain quite a bit of the stuff where things seem to be going in two directions, like his fucking eyesight. Though, NXT 2.0 again did have some positives, so let's get to those. Now that I pretty much blew my voice out doing that Vince McMahon impression, I look forward to not doing the Price is Right Wrestling intro in future videos. I know they're taping at least one episode of NXT, possibly two, so I may have to do that for a couple more. But nevertheless, positives of this revamp. They featured new talents that did succeed. Now, I'm not going to be able to list everybody here. They did incorporate some NXT UK talents, but Steiner, yes, Braun Breaker, let's use that name, even though I don't really care for it. It sounds like a fucking mobile phone game. But Rex Steiner. Steiner has succeeded. Is he absolutely the perfect wrestler now? No, he's going to take more time, but he's so much like his dad, so much like his uncle. He's so good. He's been one of the bright spots. Carmelo Hayes. who I think has been just as much of a standout as Steiner. Carmelo Hayes is absolutely main roster ready. He has been doing some great stuff. He's been main roster ready since, I would say, right around WrestleMania weekend. But he's been doing great stuff. He's had a tremendous, tremendous year since the revamp. Toxic Attraction, sure, Mandy Rose has been around for a while, but Gigi Dolan, a.k.a. Priscilla Kelly, and Jacy Jayne, my goodness, Jacy Jayne, I'm perfectly fine. How dare you accuse me of anything otherwise? They've been good. They've been a good attraction, ironically, given their name. And sure, okay, maybe it's just based around how hot they are, but they've also been featured as a pretty comparable force and a really good stable, a good trio that's done some good stuff. Sure, some of the promos and some of the staginess and everything and the high school drama bullshit ain't great, but that's been something that everybody has been guilty of in one form or another at one time or another on this particular show. Toxic Attraction has been pretty good. Cora Jade, her, Roxanne Perez, they've done good. Cora Jade's been around a little bit longer there. Roxanne Perez has done some good stuff as well. But Cora Jade, going from the skater girl, she said see you later girl, and then she picked up a kendo stick and whacked. But she's been good. We'll see how much she can advance. Solo Sikoa, who absolutely got it right away and was main roster ready months ago. And then the Creeds. I wasn't sure how to take the Creeds at first. They've done some really good goddamn shit. They really have. And there have been other women, of course. Some that have been around for a bit. Of course, there's Grandma Zoe Stark, who was around before women had the right to vote or whatever. And she's been trying to do some stuff. But see, they had other people. They had Ciampa there for a bit. They had Gargano there for a bit. Grayson Waller, I don't care how insufferably good he is in the ring. I don't want to fucking see him anymore. But they've incorporated people from NXT UK, especially since NXT UK is no longer a thing, and we got NXT Europe launching at some fucking point. But sometimes they've, found a way to incorporate new talent, freshen things up, and that's fine. You have to do that with a revamp. The problem was, and I'll talk about this in the negatives, they just got to the point where they were introducing so many people, and then some people went nowhere, or some people would be there for a couple of weeks and then would be gone, and it wouldn't be explained. And it got weird. So they introduced new talents. That was some good stuff. And then we get to one of the main positives. And this goes for TV. This goes for takeovers. They've cut down on the overly long main events. Yes, the big problem with modern wrestling, any company, is they kick out of every goddamn thing, and it's fucking ridiculous. It worked in All Japan. It worked in New Japan for a time. And it works on occasion in WWE and even on occasion in AEW and any other promotion if you have a big match. When you have everybody doing it to the point where it gets annoying, I don't know what the fuck we're even goddamn doing here. Why not just hit somebody with a 10 megaton bomb right there? Oh, they're going to kick out of that too. So what they did is, yes, some TV matches go 18 minutes. Some only go a few to establish certain talents. Have them squash somebody, have them beat somebody, and they do that, which does serve a purpose. Oh, they're beating people constantly, like beating, people that kind of look like, oh, wow, after a few weeks, this is a big deal. Oh, after 2 months, okay. And then if you do it too long, then you got to be like, okay, what else do you have? But if you give somebody, man, woman, animal, vegetable, mineral, I don't care, a bunch of wins, they're going to say, well, this is a big goddamn deal. Holy shit, this person's cool. Yes, they have gone to where there's too much interference, but wait, positive. They've cut down on the overly long main events, and that's a good thing. Because now the takeovers don't seemingly take, more time than they need. Even if some matches go a bit long, they don't feel like they drag to the point that they did with some of the great takeovers. And do not misunderstand me. Some of those takeovers from 2017, 2018, 2019... 2019 was probably the most egregiously offensive year, maybe even 2020 to an extent, but especially 2019, were good God. Some of these matches, I'm like, why is this taking so long? What is happening? That was a good thing about it. And then we get to some championship runs that have actually been pretty good. Mandy Rose, okay, her run hasn't been the best, but she's felt like a champion. She's been presented like a champion. Sure, the interference spots and some of the match quality has been here. Some of the match quality has been here. Mandy has stepped up her game. and has done some good stuff and has, again, been presented like a champion. Steiner, even though they kind of bopped around a little bit too much, you could have argued that he probably should have won the championship the first time. Yes, he made, rookie mistakes and stuff like that, and then when Ziggler beat him, it might have meant more, but nevertheless, he's felt like a good champion. Carmelo Hayes as North American champion. If he is not at least the U.S. champion by this time next year, or even the Intercontinental or something, well, I mean, Intercontinental champion, I think Gunther, quite frankly, should beat the Honky Tonk Man's record because Gunther is actually a wrestler, unlike Honky Tonk Man. But Carmelo made the North American Championship seem like a big goddamn deal after it had been bopped around a little bit and bastardized, especially when we did the stuff with Gargano and Leon Ruff. But before that, when we had Velveteen Dream as North American Champion, But Carmelo Hayes has made the North American title mean something. And even though I'm going to have criticisms of this particular division, JC and Gigi as the tag team champions. Is Gigi the best worker? No. But her and JC complement each other well. And JC makes the most of any TV time she gets. Fucking goddamn Christ, JC Jane is hilarious. Those have been some of the positives. And there have been others, don't get me wrong. The TV shows at times have a fluidity about them. And then there are times where just stuff's all over the place. And I will say those first few fucking weeks, the first episode was so fucking chaotic, I didn't even know how to encompass it. In my review, I tried to do a rendition of Prince's Party Man. I remember that. And it fucking sucked because I can't sing for shit. But the whole point is they introduced a bunch of people. And then they just had issues. But JC and Gigi, and even some others, like championship runs actually feel kind of important. Meiko Satomura felt important in NXT UK, but that was NXT UK. And then other people felt important in NXT UK for all the 5 to 10 people that fucking watched it by the end. I wish nothing but the best for the NXT UK talents that got released with the expressed idea of bringing them back for NXT Europe. And there are some in NXT UK. There have been some moments that felt cool, but sometimes they don't let some moments breathe. Those are the positives, and there are others, don't get me wrong. Leave your positives in the comments on this part. Now we get to the negatives. And again, this isn't going to be a complete burial of it, but they got way too colorful and distracting. That background was ridiculous. The background, the kaleidoscopic stuff, and I mean, I'm sorry. I know that Dynamite has their colored stuff, but theirs are more subtle. And it just... And I hate to compare that. I mean, it shouldn't be way stripped down like New Japan. New Japan's a little too stripped down. But they got to the point where it was so distracting. It's like the first few weeks, I was like, I don't even know what's going on in the matches because the goddamn colors are distracting me. And yeah, that was an issue. But you know what? Dial back on that. Do the gold and white stuff, and we'll see what happens. And then this kind of ties into the colorful part. They got way too many segments and, gimmicks they would just throw. And yes, they were trying to introduce people. I get it. They would give people some vignettes. And Tony D'Angelo got over based on the vignettes. We hadn't even seen him work, and people were excited to fucking see him. And now, a year later, he doesn't necessarily feel all that special, because it's kind of a little bit too cartoonish. They didn't let enough shit breathe. Throw shit, throw shit, throw shit. People like Dante Chen would not be followed up on. And I mean, I'm not even saying Dante Chen could have been somebody that would have been any more than mid-card, maybe competing for the North American title. Maybe teaming up with somebody to compete for the tag titles. But they gave him this great backstory where I believe he wanted to honor his dad, if I recall correctly. And he wanted his dad to see his success. And then he had a match. I think he got injured, but then he wasn't out for that long. And then they proceeded to do nothing with him. I think he's been on some episodes of NXT Level Up, which explains why I only hear about him being there. Him, a few other, that's one that I can think of. But there are others. There are some with the women that they introduce and then, oh, okay, that's it. Oh, let's change everybody's names. That's another criticism. And I get it. Oh, they want to own the names. Okay, come up with less stupid names. Rip Fowler and whatever, Jägermeister. As I said in my NXT review, I felt like drinking, when I saw what they did to the grizzled hung veterans, because they are no longer soon to be rectomized. If you get it, you get it. And just, they don't let shit breathe. Then they let some shit breathe to the point where, like, okay, they can't focus on the matches, because we need to have brawls. And that's another thing they do too much. Too many goddamn brawls. Then WWE in general, AEW, too many brawls where let's just send everybody in here and let's just do that. It gets frustrating. Need to cool down on that. Too much cartoonish bullshit from the set to the gimmicks. I already said about the set, but I know that it's developmental and you need to have some fun. You need to let people experiment with shit. And yes, the original NXT, if you go back and watch it, Dusty's version, sure, there's goofiness, cartoonish stuff stripped down. It's a little colorful. It is what it is. And yes, there were people trying things that didn't work. They changed things and they got better or they got released, whatever it was. But this, again, the revamp needed to happen. The revamp absolutely needed to happen. You need to get away from the black and gold stuff. And to the point where, yes, focused on the ring is fine, but when you couldn't see the fans and you were just like thinking, well, it sounds like a nice crowd. I sure wish I could sort of see them. Then they got to the set. And then they got to where, and not everybody, because there's no, I can't list everybody's goddamn offensive to me here. The Andre Chase University stuff. There's nothing against Andre Chase personally, but this was dog shit. Utter fucking dog shit. Why is there a university? I mean, granted, Chase University is more appropriate for wrestling than Warrior University was, because fuck the Ultimate Warrior, by the way. I'm glad he's dead. But this Chase University stuff, why was he... Why was there a guy claiming to be a professor is also a wrestler that's doing this stuff? And why are there students? Why is any of this happening? Why do they have their own section in the goddamn crowd? Oh, probably because they can't get a full crowd there because some people are like, we don't want to see cartoonish shit. This Chase University stuff is bad. Of course, the most egregious fucking offender, Wendy Chu. I don't care how well she can wrestle. I have ranted plenty. I will probably rant a little bit here. She's in pajamas with a sippy cup of body pillow and the fucking thing over her goddamn eyes to help her sleep. Boy, fucking gimmick put me to goddamn sleep. It was embarrassing. You got Steiner, you got Carmelo Hayes, you got sure Toxic Attraction. As far as maybe they're, I guess you could see that they might be a little cartoonish, but a little animated, but they're presented seriously. Cora Jade presented a little more seriously. Solo Sikoa, the Creeds, others, and then you have Wendy fucking Chu. Whoever came up with this gimmick deserves to be punched repeatedly in the goddamn face. If it was creative, then creative needs to be punched in the face. Maybe it'll reset Shawn Michaels' eye. If Wendy came up with this idea, this is an example of why you shouldn't listen to fucking talents. Because this was embarrassing. This is bad for wrestling on the TV side. Obviously, there are tons of pieces of shit that need to be kicked out of wrestling. But for the TV side, this was fucking embarrassing. And that lights out match is one of the worst goddamn things I've seen all fucking year. They should have turned the lights all the way out. And then maybe what could have happened, we wouldn't have seen people take bumps and Legos. Wendy Chu as a gimmick is fucking embarrassing. And bad for wrestling. Really fucking bad for wrestling. I hate fun. Some people say, no, I just hate shit. And that's what this is. Joe Wayne Gacy. Let me say right now, I think the guy can work, and I think the guy's a decent promo, but I hate the presentation. They haven't explained why he has his power over people. The stuff with Gibson and Drake, I already talked about that. But Joe Wayne Gacy, it's not good. It's Bray Wyatt on a discount level. Even if the guy can work and cut a good promo, it's just really, really bad TV. Heavy Metal Von Wagner is really, really objectively bland and bad. I don't think he intends to hurt anybody, and I don't believe he has, but he looks sloppy in the ring, looks confused, and that's it. Ikemenjiro's another one. Look, again, probably a nice guy, decent worker. The jacket stuff is fucking stupid. Pretty Deadly Glory. Yeah, let's take two figure skaters and make them even worse. They basically took two figure skaters and put them in a wrestling ring. But let's make them even goofier and dumber and everything to the point where even if they can work, I don't want to fucking see them. The takeovers don't feel special. As much as I said they got away from the big, long, overly long main events. Who doesn't love being big and overly long? That's why I have to wear shorts. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, back to Pretty Deadly Glory. Let me just say once again, they are fucking dog shit and an abomination as far as a tag team, at least as a gimmick. Takeovers now to the point they feel like the TV shows. Some matches will pop, and then they won't mean anything by next week. The takeovers just don't feel special anymore. They don't feel like must-see TV. You can take away the 30-minute or hour-long main events, and you can still try to find a way to make them special. The women and men's tag divisions don't feel special at all. As much as I praise JC and Gigi, they could only do so much. There are other teams that aren't bad. Casey and Katana, or Katana and Caden, whatever. They're okay, but none of these teams feel special. I mean, Io and Zoe were competing for the tag titles, and I mean, that was fucking stupid. Because Io was in NXT for way too long, but then again, in hindsight, given the fact Vince didn't get a hold of her, probably a good thing. The men's tag divisions don't feel the men's tag division rather doesn't feel special. Some of the matches are good. The Creeds have been standouts, but Pretty Deadly Glory, fucking please. Stipulation matches feel pointless, and this is a industry-wide thing, not just in WWE, AEW, New Japan. The stipulations just feel, oh, okay, we need to spice this up. Let's add a stipulation. Yeah, they did the fan service edition last night, as I'm recording this, where they did the Creeds versus Pretty Deadly Glory in a goddamn steel cage. And then they done street fights for no reason. They did a lights out match, as I mentioned, with Wendy Chu and Tiffany Stratton, and God, I fucking hated that. God, that was an embarrassment. I would have fired everybody involved, including the people filming it. But they just make, street fight. People don't stop believing. Just have them battle in the parking lot. It's the most dangerous place out there. Falls Count Anywhere matches. And all this. And stipulations can work if you do them occasionally. And then if you get to the point where you just do them so often, it's just fucking ridiculous. But this was Vince McMahon's vision. He decided to give Shawn Michaels a vision. And then because Shawn has, two ways of seeing things, he decided to occasionally book with his good eye and then with his lazy eye. Let me just say that NXT 2.0 has not been an abstract failure. It's been abstract painting and kaleidoscopic, Paper Mario color splash, human centipede together, colored blah, all over the goddamn place. And it has gotten to the point, the scripting is one more thing that I gotta talk about. Overly scripting people to the point, yes, if they can't talk, script them. Don't give them verbiage that makes them sound like they're in fucking high school. It's fucking stupid. What the fuck is wrong with you? There are probably more things, positive and negative, I could think of, but I'm not going to go on way too long. I want to know what you guys have to say in the comments. What do you guys think the legacy of NXT 2.0 will be? I say good fucking riddance. I also say this in closing. I don't think the gold and white edition is going to go back to black and gold. I think it's going to be a hybrid. You want to have the entertainment? That's fine. Just don't make it so cartoonish that some wrestling fans like me, and if you're like me, and I know I am, and you want to see stuff presented seriously, you're going to say, what the fuck is this? Have some entertainment, but have some goddamn dignity, and that's what NXT 2.0 lacked. It lacked some dignity. When it was good, it was pretty goddamn good. When it was bad, whew! But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. And we here at Price is Right Wrestling would like to remind you to control the pet population. Have your pets, have your creative staff, have anybody booking lights out matches spayed or neutered. And this is likely the last time, so I say goodbye, everybody.